Hey, I'm Andrea, this is The Direct Path, and today I'd like to share something on power source or energy source. We spoke about desire in the other video where um, I said that it is like the main fuel of our human experience. We desire something, we go after it, and that's what keeps us moving. These things like I am moving forward, or I want to get there. We are somehow driven by this sensation that we need to accomplish something, and we think that that's the only source that there is, right? We think that if there is no desire, there is no life. If there is no desire, there is no action. And I used to think that way too. Um, uh, but I discovered that there is another fuel that is not is not dependent on achieving anything. It's as if you act from wholeness instead of towards wholeness, and it's a complete. It's these two are completely different, and and it's not that there is anything wrong. This is not to be judgmental in any way. If if it works for you, that's fine, I guess. But I think it's important to understand if, or at least it was for me, it was important for me to know if there was a possibility to be happy without relying on circumstances, on and I think that that would be really what we really search for, that security, because no object in the end lasts forever. Nothing, everything comes and goes. So how could we rely on something that is decaying or passing away? So there was always this feeling of insecurity, because it's not that we attain what we thought we wanted in order to be whole, but once we attain it, there was this feeling that we may lose it. So there is always this tension, this feeling of um, this desperation, this frustration in order to keep it. Once that we attained it, then we must find a way in order to keep it. So that that attachment to the outcome of things, that attachment to this thing that I think will fulfill me, it's something that really obscures our happiness, that really obscures our life. Um, so to me, it was a great discovery to realize that there was a possibility to be happy and whole without depending on either I got the object or not. So it is indeed a radical psychological transformation, because there are two power sources from which we can derive our energy from. The energy desire is indeed a fuel. It triggers action. So it's not that, I mean, in reality, desire is a life force. I think that we also spoke about this in the last video that a desire can take you out from depression, for instance. If you are motivated to get something, you could actually get out of depression because now you are interested in something, and it may be helpful for you to leave that state uh, of sadness and low self-esteem and there. So it's not, it could be helpful to a certain extent to have a motivation, you know. It's if if you are really depressed and you want to kill yourself, you know, there is some um, some power. There is you know, this fuel, or this or gaining this motivation in order to want to wake up from that bed and go for it. You know, it has these it has its truth. You know, I'm not saying that that's something destructive or wrong, but I'm just saying that it is limited. You know, you a motivation can be could be a fuel for action, for having a desire to wake up, desire to leave. So I am not saying that it's there's something wrong with it, but I discovered that there was another way to life than that of desire, because basically the life force of desire means that I am incomplete now and one day I will be complete. So yes, it apparently can act as a trigger of actions, but it doesn't mean that it leaves you with a sense of satisfaction. You know, satisfaction for desire, satisfaction is always someplace ahead. It's always somewhere else. So it might act like a fuel. It is indeed a fuel. It might act as as an impulse for wanting to leave, but it doesn't mean that it is life itself. It doesn't mean that it is fulfilling and that it will finally give you the happiness that you need, that you want. Even if you go to a psychiatrist and you tell him that you don't have desires, that you don't have life goals, that you are not planning to become anything, that you don't you're not striving to become someone, he might tell you that you're depressed, or that you suffer from a mental condition, or that you are I don't know, you know. um, I think that in society in general, um, uh, what it's being promoted is having a healthy ego, you know. But I really don't see how it could be healthy for anyone, because, as I said, um, a motivation can help you to get out of a deep depression, but it still gives you the illusion that what you're searching for is somewhere else. So it doesn't really take you out of depression, but somehow offers you like uh, this lottery ticket, or this hope to finally be happy. So it is that hope that acts like fuel for you to get out of bed and have a desire to achieve this or that, but it doesn't mean that it resolves the the root cause of dissatisfaction. So I think that living by desire as our power source is is very limited, is very I think it's in the end destructive. It's pretty cruel. It's as if it's as being rich but not knowing it, and somehow striving for a few cents when you are a millionaire. So what's been considered normal doesn't mean it's natural, and that doesn't mean that it's the way that we are supposed to function in harmony. Also, I realized that when we live by desire as the power source, everything that we encounter is categorized into a stepping stone or a, an impulse or an obstacle. Let's say that I want to become a spiritual teacher, a coach, or and I'm not speaking about having these natural tendencies for liking this or that, but I discovered that almost all activity in my life was something that I wanted to derive my happiness from. It wasn't that it made me happy, that that just doing it made me happy, but I wanted to be happy when I finally get to be good at it, or when I finally would get to be recognized or famous for it, or acknowledged for it. It wasn't just for the sake of the activity, you know, like I just enjoyed this and I did this. I'm not speaking about having no interest at all, but I realized that almost every activity in my life was a mean for a mean to an end. It wasn't just the enthusiasm of the activity just for the sake of doing it, but what I really wanted was to finally be happy, was to finally, if I got that, if I got there, if I got that, if I got this job, if I get to date this guy, if I get to hang out with this kind of people, if I got to buy this thing, I will finally be happy. So I realized that almost all activity in my life um, was a mean to finally be complete, and that's when I realized the dysfunction. So um, if my dream, that I think that when I become a coach, when I become this or that, I will finally be happy. Um, Everything that I meet will be a mean for that end. So wouldn't see you. I wouldn't see people. I would see potential students. I will see potential followers. So desire really disconnects us from the joy that it is to just exist. And I'm not saying that you must force yourself into not desiring, because desiring not to desire is another desire. It's not that I'm saying that you will be happier when you don't desire, so make desirelessness your goal. I'm just saying that there is another way. I'm just saying that when the movement of desire is understood, something takes place, something happens, and you're somehow switched into this other power source that is action from completion, not activity to completion.